What's up guys, Intelitech Studios here, and today we're going to do a video on my newest vacuum acquisition as of the time of filming this video. This is as you can see, it's a Eureka WhirlWind LiteSpeed, and this machine is one that I got very recently. I got it like maybe 2 days ago. This is one that I'm fixing up for a customer. And I got this to basically fix it up because he said that it wasn't turning correctly. It was having some issues with just not picking up. And the issue was just that it needed a new belt. It also needs a new brush roll, but the brush roll does sound okay. But it is on track to needing a new brush roll. The bristles are kind of worn. But, and also it's one of the sides are a little bit squeaky. But it's not too bad. It definitely is passable. Another little issue with it is there's two little issues. One is that the headlight does work, but I opened up this cover to clean all the dust out of it and clean off the bulb, and when I went to screw this screw back in, the plastic that it screws into, because Eureka is a genius and decided to make it to where this screws directly into brittle plastic, completely snapped. And it all just snapped off in like 3 different pieces, and I don't want to pull this off because since that snapped off, it was a real pain to get this back on. But it is on now, and you can't really tell that it's cracked from the headlight cover being on, but that is another little issue that happened when I was servicing it. I wasn't rough with the thing, I was just trying to drive it back in, and it just snapped. It just completely cracked because the screw grooves are built directly into the slot that the screw goes into, because that's apparently good design, which I tend to disagree with. So as a result, that cracked. But again, I was able to get the headlight cover back on, and the bulb in it is still good, but that was frustrating to get back on, and I do worry that it will crack more the next time I try to remove this, so I'll try not to have to do that. But yeah, so after that, and I also cleaned it off. It wasn't too dirty when I got it. I just sprayed it down with some cleaner, and it's fine. I still need to get off all these paint marks. Another thing is that this dustbin, the filter in it is in need of a replacement, but it does work in the meantime, but it does need a new filter. And also this filter, whenever I got it, this was all like completely broken apart, and the filter had actually deteriorated so much that it actually sucked pieces of the filter through the motor and into the HEPA filter. So you can see if I remove the HEPA filter casing and this filter, you can see I did vacuum this up, but you can see there's a couple little pieces of that yellow filter that are embedded in the filter, but not much. Whenever I vacuumed this off with another vacuum, it actually didn't pull really anything out of it, so this is pretty much all that was in it. So not too much of it went into the motor, but a little bit of it did. So I quoted the customer however much it would be to fix this. I basically explained that it needed a few filters, it needed likely needed a brush roll, and it needed a new belt. And, you know, basically quoted him at I forgot exactly how much I quoted him for it, but either way, he was basically like, I don't know if I want to do it, because he initially said that he didn't want this fixed if it was more than like 20 or 30 bucks to fix it. Obviously, a new brush roll is like 30 bucks. And this filter I couldn't find anywhere, and this filter also is like 10 to 20 bucks depending on where you get it from. But, you know, I could try to cheap out on the parts and get it for cheaper, but he basically just was like, well, do you have any other vacuums in stock? And thankfully I did, because this vacuum was supposed to go to, I think it was like his friend's daughter or something. So I'll be giving her a Bissell Power Force Helix that I have reconditioned, a blue one. And so basically they'll buy that for around 20 bucks, and normally I'd sell it for like 30, so basically I'm giving them 10 bucks in trade-in credit on this towards that Helix, which is a pretty good deal for me. But she hasn't purchased the new machine yet, so it's just kind of sitting. I'm just kind of waiting on them to find a good time to meet up and get that machine to them. But in the meantime, it is possible that they decide to take this machine back, but it seems all likelihood that they're going to be buying the Helix instead, but we'll see. But since this is in my possession, again, I'm not 100% sure if it'll be in the collection or not. But since I do have it right now, I figured I'd do a video on it. Obviously, there's no personal information. It's not like it's going to reveal anything about the person, so that's fine. I just noticed there's a little bit of dirt in here that I didn't get out. Oh well, I'll clean that out at some point. But yeah, so beyond that little bit, there was another little piece of plastic that broke off somewhere, but I can't even tell where it really broke off on. But we can see, again, it doesn't have this little filter because I don't know where to find one of these filters. These pre-motor filters, if anyone knows where I can find one of these, please let me know. So I do want to get one of those filters because obviously anything that gets pulled into this would go into the motor. So, and therefore into the HEPA filter. So I don't want to run this long term without that in place, but I can run it real quick without it. It's not going to hurt it. So, yeah, so that's that right there. We can see the inside of this and see this. It's got this little sticker on it. Superior cleaning performance and all that stuff. It's missing the spin duster, as you could tell. The spin duster and the caddy are just gone. They're MIA. I don't know where they went. They weren't on here whenever I got the machine. I do have a duster, but it's not the yellow one, and I don't have the caddy, so the hose is just connected directly to the base of the hose. I'm assuming there were some models of this that didn't have the duster, so it's basically just attached as if that was the case. But it does have the other attachments. It does have the extension wand. It has the crevice tool. I can pull this off. It does have the crevice tool, which whenever I got it, this was sticking up like a lot of times they are, and this hose and the cord was kind of thrown all about it. It was in disarray, but it wasn't like broken. And here's the dusting brush that it came with. Not sure if this is the original one. I'm assuming it is because I don't know what else it would be from. A little piece of hair string or something stuck in there. But yeah, so that's, and whenever I got this, it also was, it was put in there like that. But obviously it goes in like this. It even has a little diagram, in case you didn't notice, which you can't really see because of the low light. So that clips in there. Also, whenever I got it, this hose was down around here. It wasn't around the cord clip. This was turned the other way, and the cord was wrapped partially around this and also around the machine. So obviously I've fixed that. And it's the only, another issue that it has is whenever you recline it, it reclines just fine. But when you put it back upright, it kind of does that. Like it kind of like doesn't go back into the upright position very smoothly. But it doesn't seem to be too much of an issue. So there's the rating sticker. The Eureka Company, Bloomington, Illinois, 61701. It's model 5843, it looks like, assuming I'm reading that correctly. 12 amps, made in Mexico. Belt style U. Okay, that's good. That's what I put on it. When I put a new, so I did go ahead and put a new belt on it. So the brush does spin. We can see if I lay this down here. See, there's the brush. Haven't cleaned up the bottom of this yet, but I did clean out the brush. The brush didn't really have much hair or anything on it, just a little bit. But the bristles are kind of worn down, but nothing too major. It's about what you'd expect for, 20-something-year-old vacuum. I forgot exactly how to date these Eurekas. But yeah, hydrogen wheels, everything. That one probably needs some grease, some oil. But yeah, so that is that. So that's the WhirlWind LiteSpeed. And actually, is there a way to tell serial date from this sticker? Let me see. And again, that weird little issue with it standing up. 0424. Okay, so 2004. Alright. So, 24th week of 2004, I assume, is what that means. So, 2004, Eureka WhirlWind LiteSpeed. So, I hope the customer lets me keep this because, lets me sell them that refurbished one, because I have a couple of refurbished ones that I can sell to them. They already said that they were going to get the Bissell, but, sometimes customers will change their minds. But Assuming that doesn't happen, then this will be in my possession, or in my collection, I should say, because obviously it's in my possession now. So, I have used this. Why am I saying I don't say at all, but for some reason I'm saying So this thing, I did use it to clean the living room a couple times just to properly test it out. And I also cleaned the bedroom with it, and it does seem to work. Dang it, there I go again. So this thing does work. I do want to find that pre-motor filter, so if anyone knows where I can find the pre-motor filter and where I can find the spin duster with the caddy, that's the proper color to match this. I'm pretty sure those were yellow. Yeah, those were yellow. Then that would be wonderful. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and give this thing a run. If the cord doesn't get looped around anything that it can get looped around. So these outlets are always really loose. Is there any way to fix loose outlets other than just replacing the outlet? Probably just have to replace the outlet. That's what happens when they get worn out. Alright, let's try this out. Wind down's a bit funky, so again, if this is added to my collection, or if the person decides to actually go forward with repairing this, then I will get a seething stone or whatever it's called and polish the commutator on that, so hopefully that'll make the wind down a little bit less funky. But other than that, considering this, 16 going on 17-year-old vacuum, I mean, in some countries, I know in Jamaica, this thing's old enough to drink. So, which, I mean, just because your vacuum's old enough to drink doesn't mean you should give it alcohol, obviously, because drunk vacuuming is not a good thing. So, if you do, what sentence was I trying to start there? If you do, what would the viewers do with this? If the customer decides to go forward with repairing this, then I will document that process. If they don't and they decide to buy the Power Force Helix instead, then this will be a part of the collection, because I've always wanted one of these LiteSpeeds, or I should say, I've wanted one of these LiteSpeeds ever since I got my original WhirlWind. Because once I got my original WhirlWind, I was kind of like, these LiteSpeeds look interesting. And to be honest, the only reason why I wanted one of them is because of the duster. Which is ironic, because this one doesn't have the duster, yet I actually really like the machine. I didn't think I was going to. Now, this isn't the review per se, but I have to admit, this thing looks a lot bulkier and heavier than it actually is. And funnily enough, if you adjust the price of what this was back in 2004 to today's money with inflation, you get about the cost of the current Sanitaire version of this, the Sanitaire Quiet Clean, whatever it's called. It looks just like this, only it's red. And it's by Sanitaire, which is funny because Bissell now owns Sanitaire instead of Eureka, so you got like Bissell vacuums and Eureka vacuums under the Sanitaire name. But this machine definitely is really nice, and I really hope I'm able to add it to the collection. But if the customer decides to fix it instead, then they'll be getting back a really good machine as well. But yeah, otherwise they'll be getting the Power Force Helix, since again that's just the cheapest one I have on hand that's refurbished, and they'll be smooth sailing with that either way. So yep, this is the Eureka WhirlWind LiteSpeed, and yeah, I'll go grab the other vacuum so you can see what they're getting. So for those wondering, this Power Force Helix is what I'm referring to. But yeah, so this Eureka WhirlWind LiteSpeed is the newest vacuum to come into the studio, and it may stay with us, it may not, but regardless of the fate of this thing, it is definitely very interesting, and one that I'm happy to have worked on and also used. So again, not full review, just the acquisition. If I ever do a full review, I'll be obviously more detailed and in-depth about how I like this thing. And but yeah, I am looking for one of those pre-motor filters, because now I at least know that they're common to break. So even if I do give this back to the customer, I still want to find a pre-motor filter, so whenever I get my own LiteSpeed, then I have one of those filters. So if anyone knows where I can get one of those pre-motor filters, not the ones in the bin, but the pre-motor ones, let me know, as well as the duster and everything. So yeah, this is Intelitech Studios signing out with another vacuum acquisition, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace. Stay safe and stay warm out there.